Fargo throwback review. Came out August 5th, 1996. Me, Mike, and Nick have never seen this movie at all till the other night. We all watched it, and I gotta say, it's one of those movies where going into it, you're kind of like, you don't really know what to expect. Movie's a dark comedy. There's elements of the movie that are like serious matter and almost scary matter, but then there's that weird twist to it. You're kind of like, that just happened? Like, did she really hide in the bathtub and then run out with the shower curtain and fall down the stairs? I'm like, she's dead. I don't think no, she's alive, but I'm like, that's not how you escape kidnappers. Or like when Steve Buscemi comes up to the window, he's just kind of like looking in, like she's sitting right there, he's just looking in, and he like breaks the glass, and then she gets up and runs. You're questioning like, okay, they're committing a crime, but they're doing it like the most moronic way possible, and it seems like at first they're getting away with it, like they're succeeding in this ridiculous plot just to get some extra bucks from wife's rich dad, and then it takes this weird turn into like dark territory, but still it's funny because you got that one guy, Peter Stormare, doesn't really say much except like shut the fuck up and classic cigarette in the mouth cliche thing, but doesn't say much. But then when he does way off the wall stuff, you're kind of like, holy crap, the shock value is totally there.
I had never seen this movie going in, and I was very interested. I actually picked this movie for the group. It's supposed to be one of these classic films that everybody loves. It's on top 50 lists, top 20 lists all over the place. I'm not exactly sure I understand why. I felt that it was a little slow, and while I was interested to see the outcome, I wasn't like riveted with this movie. It was kind of a slow journey. The epiphanies you get along the way weren't really that poignant in my opinion. It felt like just a murder mystery with some really funny accents, which were really funny. Somewhat interesting characters, but I don't see how this provided something new.
Fargo is one of America's classic cinema greats. Won a lot of Oscars, nominated for even more, and I feel that it truly deserved all of those nominations. Specifically, the cinematography of Roger Deakins. His work in this film is just incredible. He's done a lot of great films, he's won a lot of awards, but I think that in this film, it's really almost like its own character. You really feel the cold. That's not always something you want to feel. The movie doesn't always give you things that you want to feel. It's not really about that. It's a small story. It's not a big epic film with a cast of thousands and a budget of millions. It's a small movie about small people in a large state that's somewhat empty, and it's very interesting to just watch these people, do what they do.
Directed by the Coen brothers, most recently noted for directing True Grit, another great film. Check it out. Fargo, it's not a Western. Did not know. I had no clue what this movie was going in. Only I did a brief research on it on Wikipedia. It's based on a true story. Names were changed for obvious reasons. Starting out, the movie's a bit slow, so it's not a fast-paced movie, and if you're into fast-paced films, this may not be the film for you. Came out in 1996, so I remember hearing about it at some point. It caught my ear at some point when I was a kid. I heard this word Fargo, about a movie named Fargo, but nothing more than that. I haven't seen much of William H. Macy's film, but I have to say this movie has one of his best performances. I don't remember if he got the Oscar nod for it, but I do know the woman who plays the cop, and I forget her character and the actress's name, so please forgive me. She won the Oscar for it. This movie also won for Best Adapted Screenplay, and it deserved it. The writing in here and the acting really it made me laugh, and then I learned it's a dark comedy as we're going along. This may be based on a true story, but it also has surprisingly some funny parts in one of the most darkest parts of the movie. It reminded me a lot of Pain and Gain, a Michael Bay film with The Rock Johnson and Mark Wahlberg. Reminded me a lot of that, and that true was based on a true story. You also have Steve Buscemi. In almost every movie he's in, people will make a remark about how funny looking he is, or that he looks ill, or that he looks sick. Con Air, for instance, Armageddon. In both those movies, they made a remark about how weird he looks, or how funny he acts, or how sick he looks. A common pattern going on there.
The opening movie says it's based on a true story, changed names and everything. Nick and Eddie looked it up. It's inspired loosely on two different events from different areas, so it's just kind of like one of those, to say it's based on a true story. Movie, the biggest payoff though is in the end with the wood chipper. The reaction to that with the snow and the red blood, and the red stands out way more prominent with that because white's like a clean palette, clean slate. He's just shoving body parts in there, and it's just, you're kind of like, holy crap.
Now, I hear a lot about the cinematography and the way it was filmed, and the way that I believe one of my colleagues suggested that the cold itself was a character. I understand that, and I appreciate that, but I don't, as an entertainment piece, as a movie that you sit down to enjoy, I just didn't really enjoy it that much. Now, I did get to the end of the movie. There's a line that's said by the police officer where she basically says that life's not that bad, and I kind of got just from that's kind of supposed to be the point of the movie, that everybody else was taking their situation and saying it was bad and trying to do everything they can to make it better by just ruining what they had. Whereas she was just kind of like, you know, life's not that bad. This is good where I'm at now. I'm okay. There's little scenes in the movie like the one with the person I assume she went to high school with, just breaks down and crying and lying and all that stuff. I assume that was supposed to be into that narrative. Otherwise, I'm not exactly sure why it was there. You know, life isn't that bad. Just kind of take what you have and make the best of it.
Sometimes the villains are more likable than the heroes. Sort of depends on how you look at it. The acting is incredible. We had a lot of nominations for the acting as well. All well deserved in my opinion. William H. Macy has done so many roles, but this one seems particularly well suited to his strength. What he can convey with just a few words and a lot of looks and noises, you get so many different emotions and motivations. All the characters in this film are extremely well drawn, extremely well acted, very well written. It's beautiful to look at. All in all, I'll give this movie a 10 out of 10.
I was just told by a colleague here, it's Francis McDormand. I wonder if there's a relation to Ian McDormand from plays Palpatine in Star Wars. Oh, the guy holding the mic is shaking his head.
Spelled differently.
Spelled differently. Thank you. A lot of support from my colleagues here on Giving this review. I haven't given one of these in quite a while. So out of 10, I'm going to give this a 7.5. Entertaining if you pay enough attention to the story. If you're in the mood for a slow-paced film. Fargo is a classic, though.
I'm going to give this movie a 5 out of 10. I thought it was just kind of slow and boring. The accents were funny. The way it was filmed was interesting. But overall, I got done with it, and I was kind of like, okay, well, whatever.
I'm glad I saw the movie. For a movie that has been talked about a lot, definitely I can see why it's held as one of those, like, you know, in the top lists of whatever list you look at. Very well put together, very well shot. If it came out today, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. I liked it, I enjoyed it, but it's probably not something that I would just pop in and watch again. Maybe if some people hadn't seen it, whatever reasons like that, yeah, but I'm just like, hey, let's watch Fargo. So I've been asking for suggestions for throwbacks, and I want to thank Diego Gavin. He actually gave us a couple of them. He gave us Final Fantasy, Spirits Within, Stargate, and the original Planet of the Apes. We are going to save the original Planet of the Apes for when War for Planet of the Apes comes out, if you kind of catch on how we're doing this. Those other two that you gave, they're next on the list. Appreciate it. Which goes to show, guys, go on ahead, give us suggestions down there. We will do them. We will definitely give your name shout out. We appreciate it. With all that said, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, favorite this video, like it by doing all that fun stuff. You get your comments read, your suggestions taken. We're going to review them, give it back out there so you see what we thought, opinion-wise, everything else in between. And remember, you heard it here at The Source.